G'day, mate, and welcome to Friday Facts 328, the 2019 recap, take 2, because now I have a mojo with me. Hey, mate.
Did you just almost say 2019 kneecap?
No, recap. We're not kneecapping anybody yet. It's too early in the year, although you are late. Hang on. The Friday Facts was late to start with. It was out at 11 a.m. our time, which is
12
about
hours ago.
12 hours later than normal. And
Oh, yeah, it's
then
12 hours later than normal anyway.
Yeah, and then you're here at 11 p.m. You've just got home from doing social things, I understand.
Yeah, I had to go outside. I had to go to the Bogan Heartland. It was scary. It's weird down there, out there.
Bogan's, Australia's version of like a redneck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best way to appreciate a bogan is to Google or do a YouTube search for Siggy Butt Brain.
Oh, I just think type Bogan into YouTube and just get
Oh, yeah, that works too.
lost in an hour of turn on the autoplay and click the first video. You'll probably be gone for several hours. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, we've got a Friday Facts, which we're doing on a Saturday and is going to be published on a Sunday. But that's fine because the Prague office is closed. It's closed until next week. So their team can rightfully rest. Although I have a feeling there are certain devs that are probably not resting.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got some graphics below to, force that home.
Yes.
The most important line of this whole Friday Facts is things will get cracking again on Monday, and our first task is to get 18 done. So
I mean, that's good for you.
Hopefully between particle savings and everything else, hopefully I can get back to. Actually, it turns out I've between episodes been running it at accelerated speeds, trying to test biter behavior, and for a majority of it, now that I've disabled different mods, I can get to 90 UPS. But there are certain times when it drops down to 30 again.
Ooh, that's nice and low.
It is nice and low. It's better than the 15 I was hitting before. So,
That's an improvement at least.
I've turned off half a dozen mods. So, maybe I can add some mods back and hopefully get the biters moving again. Because now I have stacks of biters standing around doing nothing because they're stupid. So this Friday Facts is going to be a little bit on the short side because basically nobody's there. It's the week of Christmas, New Year's. If you've tried to go outside like Mojo has in the last week, nothing's open. I found that out yesterday.
Also your eyes burn and your nose burn because of this.
Yeah. You're avoiding fires there, and I'm avoiding fires here. I was up and I started streaming at 7 a.m. today, and I went outside at 6 a.m. to find both haze and a red sun, and the sun wasn't up yet. And it wasn't your normal sunrise red. It was red, smoke red, and the moon's red tonight. So it's a little bit burning around here for both of us.
Yeah, at least the smoke here is pretty thin. It's just water bombers flying over constantly.
Oh, I don't have water bombers yet, but I live a little bit more outback than you, so or rural for those people that are not Australians. So I don't expect to get water bombers. No, not anytime soon.
Mine's that semi-rural. It's the next step from being. It's like a little the faintest fringes of civilization.
Yeah, you're more civilized than I am. Definitely.
Yeah, that's very open-ended, and I can take that many ways.
Yeah, I know you can. Mojo at least lives in a capital city. I do not live in a capital city. I definitely live in a city, but if you drive 30 odd minutes in a couple of different directions, you're going to end up at farmlands. Whereas Mojo, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Oh no, I can go 15 minutes to farmland. Oh, maybe 20.
This constant farmland, or just a farm that happens to exist in the middle of the city still? Because I could do that in 1 minute.
I'm trying to think of a few which are not too identifying, because there is a few, there's a few that are pretty close, and then you go a bit further, then there's a gap, because there's just impassable terrain, mountains and things, and then then you add go 40 minutes out, and then you're into proper farmland.
Okay. I've got to go. Okay, obviously I'm more civilized than Mojo.
I
At
don't know about that.
least.
Definitely more civilized than you.
I've got to go at least 30 minutes to get to 30 to 40 minutes to get to proper farmland. The occasional farm, 1 minute. But yeah, okay, 2019 recap, Friday Facts, back on track. Yep. So 2019 recap, not kneecap. So 2019 was a typical year for Woob. They've released 017 early in the year, which was March, right, Mojo? March?
Oh, it definitely wasn't Feb 30.
No. They waited
Yeah,
until
they
the
missed
1st of
that
March.
deadline.
Yeah. And then they did bug fixing for the first 6 months, and then they went back to normal development work. Saying that, they hit some major milestones this year. There was a current peak playership of over 22,500 players when 17 launched. But Mojo, like, I know you're going to have to use your memory. I know it's like 11 p.m. for both of us. It wasn't when 17 launched. It was like a month later, wasn't it?
Pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yeah. I remember a delay, not as sizable, but a somewhat delay between 17 and its launch, and the player numbers just slowly went up over time. And then you peaked at 22,500, which is still really impressive for a small indie development house.
Didn't we do going through some comparative numbers a few weeks ago?
For total likes on Steam or total upvotes
For peak
on Steam?
players in a week.
No, we did that after recording.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was Factorio for a game of its age, because that's something you have to take into consideration. A game of its age, it does much better than games that are half its age. And that goes from early access titles that are still being developed all the way to including like AAA titles that were released 5 years ago or even 3 years ago. Factorio has way better numbers than a lot of other titles.
Oh, yeah. It was surprising, too. Like, that's up there. Well, like, it's half of Red Dead Redemption 2's active players.
Which is like that's a AAA several $1 million title.
Yeah.
That's just been released. So yeah, massive numbers for good old little Factorio, made by a small independent development house that basically self-published. If you consider what Steam does nowadays. Yeah, so they also got the historical low count of bug reports on the forum, which I believe they got down to like 10 or sub 10. Or
it was very low.
It was down to like things that we can't track down and that people don't reply to, so we can't get more details on, and things that are not bugs, as Arsenio would put it.
User errors.
Yeah, he's not quite implied enough to imply that the problem is between is between the chair and the monitor, but he goes close sometimes. Yeah. And they also hit 2 million sales, which they reached just last week. So massive accomplishment again for what is a relatively small, a really small independent little dev team. And then we can see some correlations between the timeline and the commit frequency graph below. So this is going all the way back to 2013. And you can see that the commits are fairly regular for the last 7 and a bit years. There's obviously been gaps because in the early days there was Kovarex and one other guy working on it, which would all be prior to 2013 from memory.
Yeah, that would have been the 2012-2013 period.
Yeah, but they've been really regular with the commits and continuing to improve the game as a whole. And then we have the interesting stats. So we have the stats for just 2019. We have our seeding with 1,600 commits, which is, ungodly.
Just a few.
Ungodly. Considering there's like 250 work days in the year, that's several commits per day.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Probably do at least 10 a day.
Well, on average 6, but I have a feeling he doesn't just work 5 days a week. Considering he works from home, he sets his own hours. Yes.
Seems to work 7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week probably 8, especially with 90,000 lines of code added. And he did trim out 42,000 lines of code.
Oh, yeah.
So, he is adding a lot of code. He's also trimming back a lot of code.
It's called optimizing.
Yes, yes, he has done significant optimizing. And then we have Kovarex, who, as you can see, started off the year strong and then sort of gave up right around when WoW Classic was released.
I was wondering that, because there's a big gap about when WoW Classic came out.
Yeah, he's been less active in the programming side. We'll say that much. But
Having
still,
said that, I do believe he has a baby child.
yes, he has young kids, 2 from memory, and he has been working on this for 7 years. So there does come a time where you've just like, no, I've worked on this too long. I need to take the time off. I need to get a refresher, which is something he mentioned last Friday Facts. I need to take a step back and move forth from there. So, yeah, he's had a couple of months off with 18 being pushed out early in 2020. He's going to be probably hard at work, and you can see in the early part of the year, he had more commits per day than our seeding did. So Kovarex is definitely no sloucher. So, yeah, we've got Kovarex, who added 30,000, took off 20,000 lines of code. But then we have Priscilla, the what is it?
Graphics.
No, Priscilla's not graphics, is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was the Black Magic coder.
Oh, Black Magic Graphics.
I thought like when anything didn't work, Priscilla got his hands on it, and when anybody asked Priscilla how he made it work, his answer is just Black Magic. Nobody knows. But yeah,
Priscilla, I believe, did the rendering system for 17.
Oh, okay. So he's not working on graphics, he's working on code for graphics.
Yeah, the actual rendering.
Yeah. So Priscilla, the Black Magic coding god, did 86,000 lines of code, so almost as many as our seeding, and only trimmed out 22,000. So he's obviously been adding a lot of work to Factorio itself, and yeah, Mojo's right. If he's been working on the GUI, that'd be a significant amount of code that he's had to write from scratch.
Yeah.
And then we have Bilka, which I'm actually surprised is on this list at number 4, and I'm assuming this is showing us at least the top 6 in the list, because Bilka ran the wiki as a volunteer basis, then got hired to run the wiki, and then didn't have any formal code knowledge. And as far as I was aware, Bilka mainly worked on integrating mod APIs or new mod API requests into the Factorio code, and it was only just starting to learn coding this year. But still has a lot of commits, like a lot of commits. Not as much code has been written and removed, but still a lot of work from, as I said, Bilka. I had no idea Bilka was as involved as what he is.
It does have some coding knowledge already from doing the wiki.
Yeah, from memory, I can only go off what I've read in previous Friday Facts and what's stuck in my memory, but I have a feeling it wasn't exactly C++, which is what they're writing in. It was HTML and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, HTML, site scripting, that's kind of business.
Yeah. And then we got good old Waybags, who, Mojo, refresh me, what's Waybags do?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Refer to earlier Friday Facts where it lists all the devs and what they do. But Waybags
or the team thing.
Or the team thing. That's a really good idea. Mojo's going to bring that up on another tab so he can tell us what Waybags is known for. But he's done 82,000 lines of code and removed 70,000. So not a lot added, but for what's been removed. But again, 500 commits. So, 450 commits. So just below Bilka. And then, how do we pronounce this one, Mojo?
Which one?
OXYD.
Oxid?
Oxid? Yep. There we go. Who I don't remember what Oxid does either.
AI.
Oh.
Does the BIDA stuff.
Oh. So he's the one I get to blame for my biters standing around in giant packs and not attacking.
Sure.
Even though I've enabled everything I can possibly think of to make them move forward and attack me. But yeah, again, like 20,000 lines of code added, 10,000 removed. And I do love this note at the bottom. Please note, the number of commits does not reflect on the value and quality of an individual. Yep.
Which is very true.
It is very true, and there's a couple of good quotes on Reddit in relation to that one quote in the Friday Facts. But yeah, like between us sitting at the top and Oxford at the bottom, like our sitting's done 3 times the amount of commits and what 4 times the amount of lines of code added. So yeah, there's a big difference between the different players on this board. But then again, like our settings really in charge of optimizations and writing some new features and that sort of stuff, whereas some of the other guys are in charge of, graphics or actual making graphics or sound or different things. So, some require a lot of thought and design and all that sort of stuff, whereas other ones just require lots of hours sitting in front of a keyboard typing code.
The other thing too is that the lines added, lines removed doesn't reflect what changes per, because a commit, you might delete 10 lines, but then add 11 lines.
Yeah.
So you've only added 1 line.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it was a relation of lines added to lines removed equals optimizations, Waybanks would be winning because he only added, 15,000 lines of code. So
Depends on how Git measures it.
Yeah, I have no idea. We're speculating. This is the best part of the Friday Facts.
It's all speculation. And the other thing too is you're leading into, which I was basically going to say, was that it doesn't reflect, like a commit doesn't reflect on what went into that commit. What energy and effort went into it, because it could have taken 2 weeks to create that commit, which may have only been like 2 lines.
Yeah, our settings had some bug reports like that he's gone into, and he's taken us through the steps to reproduce the bug and find out what the bug was. And it was something obscure and unique and tiny that got fixed in a couple of lines of code, but the struggle to find out what was wrong took him forever. So yeah, there's a big difference in what a commit is and what a line of code can actually do. But yeah, and then we have this year was also a pretty good year for the Friday Facts blog itself. This was maybe even the best year yet. Highest quality and most well-received posts, or the top 5 posts of the year, were Friday Facts 283, which is prepare to launch, which is the one released on the Friday saying 17 is coming out on the Monday, where they also changed or covered the pollution changes for 17. So it was like the last hype for 17, along with, hey, we've done some last minute changes whilst doing bug testing and hope's all good. Turns out, I know within the first 10 versions, a couple of pollution things were changed multiple times because it wasn't quite all good.
And there was an update within the hour that the 17.0 came.
Yeah, I kind of remember what that was. Maybe... Oh, actually, no, I do remember what that was. It was because... So I played 17 when it first came out, and I did the new player tutorial thing, and that included the rocket silo as a way to search for a blank area to install or to put something or have Computron move to, something like that, and the rocket silo is not actually included as part of the demo.
Oh, that's right, yeah. The demo was broken.
Yeah, I think I reported that one within half hour, an hour. And then we have the Friday Facts before that, which was 17 in sight, which was saying, hey, 17 is coming soon, and obviously sooner than Blizzard soon. So yeah, it was hype for 17. Then we have a recent one, the new pathfinding algorithm, which was, we covered obviously, fairly recently? 10, 11 weeks ago?
Something like that.
And it was an interesting read because the pathfinding hasn't been touched basically since it was first introduced in the game. So yeah, it had a big change and also vastly increased basically the speed at which the Pathfinder runs at. And then we have Friday Facts 303 with their under 100 bugs, which then led to a few weeks later under, bug roll bugs, 10. I think it was about 10. But yeah, there was...
Sounds familiar.
I think that was around about 1750-ish, because they still hadn't gone stable.
Yeah.
At all in 17 at sub 100 bugs, which is, yeah. And then we have Friday Facts 278, the new quick bar, which is the quick bar we're all familiar with today, compared to the old quick bar that was just 2 quick bars that were not part of your inventory. They were above and beyond your inventory. And then when this quick bar came into 17, we had the 10 choice quick bar, along with it's more of a shortcut bar to items in your inventory, which was a big change and a very controversial change at the time. But overall, it's something like I like, but I dislike. I still think it's missing a couple of features. Like if you put 50 inserters in your quick bar, but you've got 100 in your inventory, it'll save 50 or 43 or whatever's in the first stack, or last stack, even though you might have 100 and something in your inventory, so it doesn't keep a track of the total, just keeps a track of the last stack.
It should add up to the total.
Nope.
Unless is it still in your hand at the time?
Maybe it's in your hand.
Yeah,
part,
if you're clicking into that and then not releasing it, then it might still show what's in the inventory, and then when you release what's in your hand, then it should correct.
No, it's the in your hand part. The in your hand part still only shows what's in the stack, not the total amount, which is a small frustration that they did mention around about that Friday Facts or just afterwards, and they were proposing to change, and it hasn't happened. But no, the biggest thing with the quick bar is you can't take it from one save to another, which is still one of the reasons I don't really use it that much.
I can't remember now if that was meant to be an eventual feature or not.
They did mention it, and they did suggest that it was going to end up becoming part of the toolbar or the quick bar, and then it didn't ever happen. So I don't know. I've recently been told there is a mod that lets you do that and lets you save your quick bar as a blueprint, which I'm probably going to do a video on the next week, because I got to admit, like, if I could set 1 as like yellow belt early tech, and then 2 as red belt with medium tech, and 3 as blue belt with later tech, and then 4 is like pipes and refineries, and 5 is trains, and 6 is who knows what, I would probably use it a lot more game to game and actually remember where things are, because generally it just ends up as a hodgepodge of whatever I happen to shove down there at the time that I might get to end game and still have like small power poles down there, because I've never bothered taking it out. Or I use the slots as, like, I don't have substations yet, but they're definitely in the bot network somewhere. I'll put it on the toolbar, and then I'll pull it off the toolbar and place down a ghost, and then a robot will eventually come past and place this substation. But yeah, I don't use it because I can't bring it persistently between saves, which is just, I don't know, an annoyance, a lack of a feature. I don't know what to call it.
A feature request?
Feature request. That's what we're going to call it. All right, there we go. We're going to put down first feature request of 2020. Can we please have the quick bar be persistent and save, and even use the blueprint system like the mod does to take it from game to game? Anyway.
Blueprint system that works? It's a slippery slope now. Oh dear.
That's coming in 18, I believe. We hope. We've been promised in previous Friday Facts. We'll see. It's coming before 1.0, we hope. Either it's DLC. The Blueprint Library DLC. Would you pay for it?
Depends on what you get if you don't get it.
Probably the existing Blueprint Library.
Or do you go back to pre-15 blueprints where you have to craft it? You have to craft it unless you get the DLC.
Oh.
And you don't get books.
Oh.
1 red circuit per decon planner, I think it was.
It was 1 red circuit per blueprint. Didn't you get books? Couldn't you craft a book?
No, they came in 15.
Oh, we're going back to 14. Wow, okay. So you had to craft a blueprint, and then they were 1-use items, weren't they?
No.
Oh, no, I think you needed a green circuit to wipe them, or a red circuit to wipe them.
That's the one, yeah. It was like a green circuit to craft and then a red circuit to wipe. Or it might be the other way around.
It was red circuit to craft, because you had to get red circuits to get robots, and that's when you get blueprints, and then a green circuit to wipe them. Oh boy, back in the day.
Oh boy, can you believe that was 4 years ago?
Shit, really? I'm getting old.
That was 2016.
I'm getting old. Okay.
It's a scary thought.
So
So moving swiftly along.
Yep, here's a graph showing the total website viewership statistics. Because Clonan finds this super interesting. You'll see the spikes every Friday, which is, yeah, they only update the page once a week, so there's no point visiting on any day except a Friday. I do wonder how many of these happen on a Friday where somebody's hitting refresh like every couple of hours waiting for the Friday facts to post. Because they were like 12 hours late today, and then, 12 hours later than normal today, and then I think it was last week, they actually made it an hour and a half into Saturday. They were that late. Which, everybody's on holidays. Cloden's the only one working, probably. Because it's community manager, he has to work. Our City's a robot, okay?
Yes, that is true. Yeah,
Clonan's a community manager. As long as the community exists, he has to work. He doesn't really get much of a choice. He can obviously work less, maybe, possibly, on certain days, but he's in charge of stuff like the Friday Facts. So we do have the page views per year, and we can see in March when 17 was released, all the way up at 75,000 views, which is
one or two.
Massive amount. But look, I'm looking at just like the end. So we're talking like December. The late December. So this is the week last. Well, actually, it wouldn't be last week. It would be the week before. So, the week of Christmas, and we're still talking at like 25,000 views for that particular Friday Facts, which means you have 25,000 people that once a week are taking time out of their day to read about what the devs have done on a game that they're hopefully playing a lot, but possibly not playing that much. Which is still higher than their total amount of concurrent players on one single time slot on Steam.
Well, that's more than double their active players at this very moment. And it's half of their 24 hours.
Yeah. So that's a massive amount of people like checking in once a day. And that doesn't include like those that don't read the Friday Facts but watch my videos or Exterm does a video, so does German. Say no. Sino also does a Friday Facts video, and I think one or two other people do. So there's a couple of videos every week that go up on YouTube, which means possibly you don't actually go visit the Friday Facts and you just consume it podcast style like this.
And all these videos are diluted.
They are diluted somewhat, because we do summarize some things, but then again, you and me ramble a lot, so, the videos get longer than probably just reading it. But there's a good amount of people every week that are going and finding out what the devs have been doing in the past week, and it's only, the past 7 days, so that's a pretty big viewership. I still really wish more devs would do this sort of thing. I know the Satisfactory devs have been, they're
pretty good.
Not in blog style. They do lots of videos, but written wise they did maybe one every 3 months. True. They do it in videos, which is probably easier and quicker for people to gather the content and receive the information. And they do one every 2 weeks normally on average. So I just wish more devs took the time and the effort to write up sort of blog style posts. So just give us an insight once a week, because there's lots of other games that I'm following that you get the occasional Twitter post every 3 months. That's about it.
If that, or you might get a dev stream, and it's really just them hyping stuff and like saying things but not saying things at the same time.
Yeah, and maybe occasionally answering a question, but more often than not, just avoiding questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also this quote here. It's also funny, this year we're starting a lot of spam emails asking about posting sponsored articles on our webpage. We would never accept any proposals. Which is funny, because I have a feeling that a lot of other developers that were getting at least a minimum of 25,000 unique views once a week would probably say, sure, we'll put some Google-sponsored ads down the bottom right-hand corner for a little bit of supplemental income. There was a couple of posts over on Reddit that I loved in regards to that one line. It was MTK Railroad said, "This is why the Factorio dev teams capture our hearts," because, like I said, I have a feeling a lot of other devs would happily accept a couple of Google AdSense dollars or sponsored ads. And then GM SVS asked, I wonder what those articles are and why those people thought Factorio players would be interested in them. They couldn't all be some stupid ads, right? And then Tactical Table has the best point here. I want them to do the sponsored posts, but only on the dumbest products. Raid Shadow Legends, forget it. I want Ebony 2 essential oils and 55-gallon drums of lube for blue belts. And I have to admit, if Woob did like tongue-in-cheek every couple of Friday Facts, a sponsored thing right at the bottom on the absolute dumbest products, I think I'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it'd be a good laugh.
Yeah, and that's all it would be. And I don't care if they keep the sponsored dollars, they donate them to a charity, whatever they decide to do with it. It would be a good laugh, and that's all it'd be there for. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They've got a tough journey ahead of us this year. They're getting ready for the game to come out on September 25th. Do or die, come what may. They have 9 months remaining now, and they have their work cut out for them. This is why they're taking the rest of the week off, right?
Yes, so we're not going to see anything for the next week. Probably the next few weeks, realistically.
Yeah.
Because once they come back, things are going to start, kicking up again.
Yeah, they're going to have to get everybody on the same page, work out what needs to go into 18 and what has to be still done to get into 18. And then they're going to have, same as they did with 17, and we can see it here between Friday Facts. 282 and 283, they did a week of in-game or in-house testing, running a couple of multiplayer maps to see what broke in that last week. So, Feb 30th, right?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Which then leaves them, 7 months to get version 1 done?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, you say it like that, it's starting to sound really, really tight schedule. Yeah.
It starts to sound a little bit worrying.
Yeah. So yeah, Weeb's got a big year ahead of them. We've got a big year ahead of us because Mojo will keep streaming Factorio. I'll keep doing YouTube videos and streaming Factorio. It's going to be an interesting year.
I've got you say I got to do Factorio. I got to do it like 25,000 science a minute bot base.
25,000?
Yeah, 25k science a minute bot base. That's the current plan.
Factorio extended, I assume.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Wow.
It'd never work otherwise.
Okay. So Mojo's gonna build a bee's nest.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a link to a mod that I need you to go and get and use the skin for your bot base. So all the bots actually turn to bees just as a skin, but that'll look hilarious either way. And 25k, damn. Okay. So yeah, link in the description to Mojo's streams. Go give him a follow button because I gotta admit, even I want to see a 25k science per minute bot base. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, I have a vague idea of how I'm going to do it, but at the same time, I have no idea how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's like when I do my maps, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Here's the concept. And then day 1, stream 0 or recording session 0 starts and the plan goes promptly out the window because it was a really good idea that just didn't have any foundation under it. And I just make it up as I go.
It's the best way.
It is. It keeps things interesting moving. Anyway, that's it for the first Friday Facts of the year. Thank you, Mojo, and I guess we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.
You sure will.